Hi guys, thanks for tuning back into Middle Class Reactions. We're going to take a look at Tucker Carlson just slaughtering Ted Cruz here. I'll give props to Ted Cruz for sitting down for 2 hours with a guy like Tucker, but Tucker Carlson just eats his lunch and really exposes him for the scumbag that he is. Cannot stand Ted Cruz. So let's take a look. This is specifically talking about how much impact the Israeli government has over the United States. It's a very interesting conversation, and Tucker actually asks the right questions that I feel like should be asked. And we'll see how Ted Cruz reacts. Let's take a look.
I'm only trying to get to the question of what AIPAC is, and I don't think you're being straightforward about it. AIPAC is lobbying on behalf of the interests of a foreign country, and they're not registered. And you're saying, no, that's not true. You're saying that they don't coordinate with the Israeli government.
Of course, I coordinate. They talk with them. I don't know what they do. I can tell you.
But why don't you care? Isn't it meaningful if a foreign government...
Hey, I talk with Israel all the time. I talk with foreign countries all the time.
But the law is, and a lot of people have been prosecuted under this law, that if you are lobbying on behalf of a foreign government, you must register. That's it. It's really simple. And I don't know why, if I'm working for Malaysia or Qatar or Belgium, and I'm working on behalf of its government's interests through a group of Americans who are representing the friendship between those two nations, I have to register under the Foreign Agent Registration Act, and if I don't, I can go to jail. And people have gone to jail, including people I know. So I don't understand why we don't just be honest and say they're lobbying on behalf of a foreign government, they're coordinating with the government. You know that that's true.
That is not only not true, that is false.
They're not coordinating with the Israeli government?
Do you know how AIPAC raises money?
Okay, so to say that they're not coordinating with the Israeli government, like, come on, man. It's like saying the CIA doesn't coordinate with the United States government. They're just out doing their own thing. Yes, I know the CIA is not exactly like AIPAC did. I'm aware. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Israel, like, runs AIPAC. And Ted Cruz is going to go off and say that, oh, AIPAC doesn't coordinate with the Israeli government. They're not controlled by the Israeli government. Ted Cruz also just happens to take millions of dollars from AIPAC, but, you know, that's a different story.
What?
For elected officials, like what they do, like what the actual mechanics is?
I get it. I mean, they go to people who are sympathetic to Israel and raise money and then send it to candidates who agree with them.
So what they'll do is, so in my last election, AIPAC endorsed me. And they'll host a fundraiser. And they'll host a fundraiser in Dallas or Houston or Atlanta or New York or LA. And they'll do a fundraiser and they'll get someone who will host it. And it's usually a business owner, lawyer, doctor, someone who hosts it. And you get typically at an AIPAC fundraiser, 30, 40, 50, maybe 100 people who live in that city.
Right.
Who care about a strong U.S.-Israel relationship. Yeah. And if they have, 50 people, each of them writes $1,000 check. And you raise $50,000.
Yeah, I've been to an AIPAC fundraiser. Okay. I know what it looks like.
But that is not, and by the way, there's no representative of the Israeli government there. You have, when you're in Dallas, you're meeting with...
This is such a false and silly conversation. I know all this. The question is are AIPAC's goals shaped by the goals of the Israeli government to any extent?
Okay, that's a really simple question. From lobbying on behalf of.
It's a simple question. Are AIPAC's goals shaped by the goals of the Israeli government? And I'm just going to ask you that question straightforwardly. And if you say no, I think we both know that's not true.
Okay, are they shaped by?
Are they coordinating with the Israeli government?
Are they talking with them? Yes. Is Israel directing them? You want to talk about FARA? The law on lobbying on behalf of someone.
Yeah.
It is, I hire you and you lobby on behalf of me. I direct you. Does Israel direct AIPAC? No, they are not lobbying on behalf of them. Do they care about them? Yes, but...
Do you think that, it's just interesting because what you're now describing in a very defensive way, I will say, is foreign influence over our politics.
No.
And you began, and it's so transparently obvious to everybody, I don't know why you would be embarrassed of it. You've said that you are sincerely for Israel. I believe you. I don't think you have some weird agenda. You seem to be sincere.
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel, when we're talking about foreign countries...
It's hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese. You're not talking about Japanese. You're not talking about the Brits. You're not talking about the French. The question, what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, I'm an anti-Semite now.
Senator, you're asking the questions, Tucker. You're asking, why are the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that. And I have
That is exactly what you just said.
Well, actually, I can speak for myself and tell you what I am saying.
Good.
On behalf not simply of myself, but on my many Jewish friends who would have the same questions, which is to what extent, and it's interesting you're trying to derail my questions by calling me an anti-Semite, which you are.
I did not.
Of course you are. And rather than be honorable enough to say it right to my face, you are in a sleazy feline way implying it, or just asking questions about the Jews. I'm not asking questions about the Jews. I have This has nothing to do with Jews or Judaism. It has to do with a foreign government.
Isn't Israel controlling our foreign policy? That's not about the Jews.
You said, I'm asking you.
And by the way, you're the one that just called me, I think, a sleazy feline. So let's be clear.
It's sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite, which you just did.
No, I just said, why is that the only question you're asking? You answer it. Give me another reason. If you're not an anti-Semite, give me another reason why the obsession is Israel.
I am in no sense obsessed with Israel. We are on the brink of war with Iran. And so these are valid questions.
But you're not asking about Iran or the Ayatollah.
If I can finish, you asked me why I'm obsessed with Israel.
Yep.
3 minutes after telling me that when you first ran for Congress, you elucidated one of your main goals, which is to defend Israel.
Yes.
And I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel. I don't see a lawmaker's job as defending the interests of a foreign government, period. Okay. Any government, including the ones that my ancestors come from. So that's my position. That does not make me an anti-Semite. And shame on you for suggesting otherwise. And I mean that. And that's low, and you know it's low. So why don't you just answer my questions in a straightforward, rational way? You certainly have the IQ to do it.
So shame on you is cute, by the way, Tucker.
It is. It's not cute. I'm offended. I'm obsessed with the Jews. You just told me
you just called me a sleazy feline.
It is sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite for asking questions about how my government is run.
You want to count how many questions you asked about? What about the Jews? What about Israel? What about AIPAC?
I never asked about the Jews. This has nothing to do with the Jews, whatever that means. This has to do with a foreign government. And once again, shame on you for conflating the two. They have nothing to do with each other. I'm talking about the influence of
Israel and Jews have nothing to do with each other?
All Jews, or an attack on all Jews, which I am not, nor would I ever be undertaking now. I'm not attacking anybody.
By the way, that's who Iran wants to kill, is all the Jews and all the Americans.
And I'm totally opposed to that, okay? But now, because
except you don't want to do anything about it.
Decisions need to be made.
We can talk about those decisions.
And I plan to.
Good.
But I just want to get a sense of whether you think, having described yourself as an America First person whose only criterion for judgment on foreign policy is America's national interest, to what extent you're influenced by a foreign government, which gives you a lot of money through its lobby, and you're claiming this has nothing to do with the foreign government. They're not coordinating. Yes, they're spying on us, but it doesn't bother you. And I'm sort of wondering, what is this? This is one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had.
I'll tell you what, and I'll answer any question you like, but let's try to...
Are you going to call me an anti-Semite again or no?
Let's try to ratchet down the temperature a little.
You're the one who went to motive. I'm asking honest questions.
I'm
just asking questions. Yes, that's it. That is what I'm doing.
So, the Zionist group, which I would put Ted Cruz in, they always, as soon as you start asking hard questions, you know that they don't have an answer when the immediate thing they go to is, why are you talking bad about the Jews? You know? That's the first thing that he went to. Why are you talking bad about the Jewish people? And people like this, like Ted Cruz here, he is well smart enough to know that Tucker's not talking about the Jews. He's talking about the Israeli government. And no, they're not the same thing. If you think they're the same thing, you're retarded. And you need to go do some more studying. The Israeli government is not the Jews. It's like when I talk about the United States government, I'm not talking about the Americans. I'm talking about the government, you know? Same thing with Ukraine or Russia or whatever it is, you know? If you say, oh, the Russians, you know, Putin, oh, hey, Putin invaded Ukraine. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the rest of the Russian citizens. I'm talking about something that Putin did, you know? Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu, he struck Iran. I wouldn't say the Jews struck Iran. Stupid. It's dumb. And Ted Cruz knows that, and I'm glad Tucker called him on it, because that is what every single pro-Zionist side does. Ben Shapiro does this all the time. I saw Destiny do this with a debate with Nick Fuentes about a month ago. Every time that Nick Fuentes would bring up something about the Israeli government, Destiny would go, oh, so you think the Jews hate everybody? It's like, what? No. And it's so disingenuous, but that's what the super pro-Zionist side does all the time, and it pisses me off to no end. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be putting 3 or 4 videos out on this interview. It's going insanely viral because Tucker just will not let Ted Cruz go on stuff like this, and I think we need to see that. So stay tuned, but thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, do all the stuff you know you need to, and I will catch y'all next time.